It's free to. It's a free to play though. Well, Blessed Unleash is a remake of Blessed Online, which failed on PC. So exactly, it, but it wouldn't have happened. That wouldn't have happened if New Wiz didn't cheat out, didn't screw the people over either. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Wow. Wow. Whew. So we're gonna have to talk. We Wow. What is going on, everybody? This is the Digital Cypha Podcast. This is Ebonics, and I'm here with Dio Zales and Don CJG. You got us talking about some shady stuff that's going on in the gaming industry. My boy Don CJG has some stuff, and my boy the Don CJG. No, sorry, Dio Zales. Man, two D's in the panel, two D's in the panel, two. No, yo, yo, yo. Dio Zales, what's going on? What's going on with you? Mm-hmm. Gotcha. We'll get into that. The Don CJG, what's up? Yo, it's been an interesting week. You, you know, you wait, what? You traveling? Where did you go? Nah, man, you travel in your room playing Halo. Wow, wow, wow. Okay, cool. So, very interesting news. Very interesting news. Theo, what's going on? Talk to us. MMO, what's happening? Yeah. Hmm. Uh huh. Mm-hmm. Wow. Wow. Okay, so it seems like we're having a little bit of a technical issue here. Um, the The audio is picking up my voice, is not picking up you guys's. Uh, so, one sec. You remember that delay we were having?
Yep.
There we go. All right. Say something now?
Is that back? Hello,
No.
hello.
Okay.
Test.
Okay. So let me take this down. Hello.
Howdy.
Are you guys hearing the delay?
There you go.
Any delays on your end? I'm sorry.
I don't think so. Sounds good now.
No,
Okay.
doing real good.
All right. So, um, so there's a game. There's an MMO game called the New World. I was gonna say the New World Order. New World. It might as well be if they're gonna be selling you a game, and then having a store, where people buy cosmetics and all this other stuff. Um, I thought it was free to play, but it's actually $50 deluxe, standard $40, right? So
Yep.
for me, I feel like if you paid money for a game, like if you paid money for a game, I don't think there should be a store, in my opinion.
Oh, I agree with that. I mean, it's becoming standard practice now, but
Mhm.
I'd rather them not be inside the game.
I mean,
Yeah.
we have to look at ESO, right? Now
Oh,
ESO,
forget it. Yeah, it's really bad.
ESO, how would you compare? Okay, the terminology of the new world with the practices that ESO has. Like based on what you're seeing, what they're doing with the store, we don't know because the game hasn't launched. We get it, but based on
Yep.
I guess face value with this store for the new world, is there anything that you can do like a compare contrast um, with other games like ESO? I guess what's another game? Um, Terra was free to was paid and then it went free to play, right?
Yeah, but community is so dead that I wouldn't even bother comparing it. I
Dang.
mean, the top three are World of Warcraft, ESO, and
Mm.
Final Fantasy 14. But I mean, ESO would be the better one to compare it to because the sub fee is optional.
Mm. Right. Versus I, see, I haven't put my mind into World of Warcraft yet, but I did play some Final Fantasy, and I see why they do it, because what they kind of sort of give back. Final Fantasy, they kind of sort of give back in different ways. Um, for instance, they had this Final Fantasy. I don't know if it was festival or something. I could be wrong, so forgive me. But the intended purpose behind the reveal of the new patch, or the new Endwalker, I think it's called, where you have
Yeah.
the sage and a guy with a scythe, which looks pretty cool. Anything with a scythe, I'm down for it. Anyways, um, they wanted to tour the country, right? Or tour the world, Final Fantasy tour, and visit all the locations where the community, the would come and see them, and there was a band that's actually part of the Final Fantasy soundtrack. They will be playing, things like that, and they were forced to be virtual. So, not to mention, it was kind of funny. Kind of, it's like a side, like it's just a side track here. One of the guys, he is the musician. I don't know if he was a lead musician. I think he was the lead singer. I think I forgot his name. He got cancer, and he was developing the soundtracks, the sound effects, the all that stuff while he was in the hospital getting treatment. and nobody knew.
Really?
Nobody knew in like the team that the only person who knew was the lead director, the person who you see all the time talking about Final Fantasy, the top guy. Not the Sony guy or not the guy with the gray hair. I know I am not doing a good job. There's a okay. So for every Final Fantasy show, they bring
Yep.
in the head honcho, they give him flowers, and he leaves. Not him.
You talk about
Not him.
Nobuo Uematsu, right?
I think so. I think that's him. Because usually he's the only guy talking on the shows, and he's being translated, and then you have the teams talking here and there. So only he knew what was going on with the guy. So the I'm assuming he's the lead audio person, and he runs the band, or he's a part of the band. He was in the hospital fighting cancer, and during the show he was able to come out saying that he's no longer fighting anymore. I believe he's no longer fighting anymore. Because that was 2 weeks ago, I think. And man, it was. I don't know. I don't care what anybody gotta say, man. A group of men crying on stage, bro. That was a tearjerker, bro. Like it was.
Yeah,
There was
hits the feels.
bro. It was just a moment of silence, bro. Just for the guy who was there. Like any Final Fantasy guy would have just stopped and cry a river, in a positive way.
Yeah.
So it was. I have a different set of respect for those guys because they wholeheartedly put their arms, legs, and body into this game. Like how Mama put her foot into the food, and make it taste good. That saying. Like these guys, you can easily see that it's much more than the subscription, and it's much more than just the game, and they really believe in their community. I can't say that. I can't say that to be the same with Bethesda and ESO. We know they had a rocky start.
Yeah.
We know that they are still developing their brand as far as ESO. Like, there are, to me, this is my opinion, and I think ESO is basically gliding on lore of the single player games. Which is
for
fine.
sure.
It's fine, but I don't even know if ESO can have its own story. You know what I'm saying? Like its own breathing vibe. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. It just feels like they're taking Skyrim and Oblivion and all these other lores that they've from previous games and put it into ESO. But would ESO have its own, its own narrative, its own drive, its own story that separates itself from its predecessors, other than being MMO? You know what I mean? And I think when it does that, then we can say, oh yeah, man, like, I think I can look at it differently, like how I look at Final Fantasy differently and World of Warcraft differently. Like New World, I don't know what New World is. It's just an MMO right now. It's to me, I don't even know what it's about, but it has good qualities from the alpha that I've played. But I'm not getting much from it, and I guess that's a good thing because it's an alpha. They don't want to sell you on a story yet, right? To be released before it's done, but I don't know.
Well, I think Final Fantasy and Elder Scrolls are different because Elder Scrolls has to rely on the lore. And I'll say the same thing even for World of Warcraft because they have established lore where they have to follow a certain route.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they have a little more flexibility with ESO because it happens in the past,
Mm-hmm.
so they can kind of make up their own little stories for what happened then. where Final Fantasy has such a greater and easier time to make their own story because every Final Fantasy is a new story.
Yeah.
You know, there's certain enemies and spells and things like that that share common ground, but the main story of each one is different. So I think they have a little bit of an easier time to do that with that.
And then there's a
But New
creative
World,
freedom though. There's
I
also
don't
like.
think the story is very developed only because of the fact that
Hmm.
I think that they really just wanted to focus more on the combat and the PvP
Mm.
aspect of the game, which is fine because I think that's what most players who gravitated towards that game wanted.
Hmm.
They just wanted a good PvP MMORPG, and now they're trying to add PvE to it, which could help them, but I don't know. I think their biggest problem is just going to be this in-game store because they're really trying to test it out because they want to just sell cosmetics, which I don't like, but it is standard practice now. But the fact that they're saying they're not going to do quality of life and they're not going to do boosting or any of that other stuff until after 2022.
That's stupid.
So it's definitely going to happen.
I mean, that's because the game's
That's the
gonna come
problem.
out in August. You should have your
Yeah,
role.
it releases in the end of August, so it's pretty much September. So you get like 4 months of the game that will be free from any of those kind of like changes or cheater. I don't want to say cheaters because they're paying for it,
Right.
but for people who are not going to put in the same effort as you.
Do you think that it's gonna go free to play come next year if nobody jumps in, or you think they're gonna go
I
the
don't
console route and try?
I don't think it'll go free to play because I think buy to play is a fine way to sell a game.
Hmm.
I think there's still going to be enough people who buy the game because I mean, look at Black Desert Online also. I mean, I guess you could compare that one also because that's buy to play. You'll just have like times when they put the game on sale and that'll like resurge the player. The only difference I would say between this and Black Desert Online, because Black Desert Online is controversial for being pay to win also,
Hmm.
is that they definitely have a complex and interesting combat style, at least on the PC version, in my opinion.
Hmm.
Um, where this one seems simplistic, and I really see a lot of the MMO community already arguing that this looks like it was a game that should have been released on console, and you
It
know,
it feels that way. It definitely
I
feels
don't
that
I
way to
don't think
me.
a lot of people are really interested anymore in it. I think they're just gonna wait for the next thing.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people have already gotten um, refunds.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Gotcha.
I would like the game to do well. I would like actually to see it on the console as well.
Hmm.
But with this in-game store, I don't see it being a very competitive game, and I don't see it lasting for a very long time. Because in the end of the day, someone who's already a big Final Fantasy fan or someone who's a big World of Warcraft fan, they're not going to gravitate towards this because they're already established in another game. They
Right.
might not like in-game stores, and they might not like these quality of life changes and stuff like that, but they'll deal with it in a game that they've already sunk in so much time, investment, and money,
Hmm.
where they're not going to sink more money and more time into something that they don't even like or have an established relationship with yet.
Gotcha.
So it's just sad that we can't get like a legit good MMORPG. Hopefully, Astro Creation will be that, but I don't know. But we're really gonna have to wait and see.
Well, speaking about scams, there was that one joint that you brought up in the Discord, which was kind of interesting. Dreamworld. What's going on with Dreamworld?
Yeah. So Dreamworld is a independent game
Uh-huh.
being developed by two developers on Kickstarter. I think they've already saved up, gotten like support for like 64K or
Okay.
more.
Huh.
Okay.
So, and I think they have like over like 600 backers.
Oh wow.
So it's not too bad. I mean, they definitely have some support there, which is cool. The only problem is that when you look at the game itself, at least the footage, you could tell it's almost like it's just for show, right?
Okay.
Like
Really?
there's no substance to it.
Hmm.
And it's been proving more, which I'll give them one credit thing. They did not push their alpha. They actually released their alpha on time. The only problem is that they had no NDA.
Oh wow.
Huh.
So everybody shared the alpha, and it was very apparent that they did not put any really hard work into this. There's no chat function. There's no combat. People are already hacking into it.
But
It's just a big mess.
isn't it built on the Unreal Engine? Anyway?
No way.
Yeah, and on the Discord and our media functions, like if you badmouth this game in any kind of way or accuse them of any kind of wrong intent, they'll like ban you right away.
So basically voicing your opinion.
Yeah, like there's just so many shady things going on. I mean, even older mods are like teenage kids that they've promised that they'll give a job to eventually when they're of age.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh wow.
Wow.
When they're of
yeah, it's really, and I mean, like the head dev of this game,
Yeah.
Zach, what's his name? Zach something.
That's
I just can't think of it right now.
Exact something.
He has a long history of starting projects and not finishing them.
Okay.
Oh, sounds like a totally reliable guy.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, he's done this with so many different other kind of things like clothing lines, athletic apparel. What was another thing? He did some other kind of website for. He's pretty much he's a rich kid who's riding off the coattails of his like family, and he can fail. It's fine. No one's gonna hold him
He's
accountable.
learning from his failure, though.
So it's
Yeah.
really up to the MMO community at this point to be like, hey, we can't keep feeding these guys money when they're not going to do anything with it. What they're going to do is just,
False
pretty much
promises,
scam you
yeah.
out of it.
So
Yeah.
So when they released the alpha, when? Do you know?
It already released. It was, I think it was the 25th.
The 25th of this.
Okay, so a couple days ago.
Yeah.
Okay. And when did they announce the Dream World? Was it like a couple years?
I want to say it was a few months ago.
So they announced the Dream World, and they released an alpha. Would you say that the alpha was made a few months ago from scratch?
Okay,
Look,
I'm looking at the timeline right now. It
I'm-
was
Mhm.
first post was in June of last year.
Okay.
Okay. Almost an entire
So-
year ago.
Okay.
So almost a year ago, right? So
yeah.
if they were actually working on it for a whole year, then not that bad. But I mean, when you look at the actual alpha, it doesn't show a whole year worth of work. I mean, and granted, I mean it is 2 devs, right?
Mhm.
Hmm.
But when you actually
like,
look at the gameplay and
two-
everything,
Two single developers or two like?
Let
Dev
me
company.
let me say something.
2 single developers.
Let me,
Oh
let me,
Jesus Christ.
let me say something.
Yeah.
If you ever seen Lost Souls Aside, Lost Souls Aside, that's made by a dev, right? I think he's out of China, I believe, either China or Korea, right? But he went to school for game development, or he's like a programmer or something of that nature. Like, they understand how to do it. You know what I'm saying? But he stopped working, period, and stayed in his room and made this game to the point that Sony
Yeah.
picked him up, right? When I compare what that guy did to what 2 guys did in a matter of
Yeah.
a month of a year,
Yeah.
that that doesn't look like.
Yeah. Same with Bright Memory as well, right? That was one guy for a while.
Bright Memory was one guy, but again, when you look at those creative mindsets compared to somebody who's buying, it looks like they're buying assets off of the Unreal Engine marketplace and then throwing them all into a game world, animate
Pretty
them,
much.
you know, and the only person you're running around with is not a character that you create, is the mannequin.
Oh, really?
You're playing the mannequin from
Yeah.
Unreal Engine in the alpha.
Is it that bad?
That's what it looks like to me. I mean,
Yeah,
I
I
could be
mean,
wrong.
I could even give another example. There was another MMORPG. I think it's still being developed right now called Project Gorgon.
Okay.
That's also being done by a two-man team, a husband and a wife.
Oh.
And even that game looks way better. I wouldn't say graphically it looks much better, but I mean,
Mechanically.
it looks more polished and
More-
finished.
Yeah, more.
Like, it actually has
substance to
combat
what
and
the
everything.
characters-
Got you.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah. Yo, I'm still in game design mode, thinking and strategizing strategic stuff, man, like mechanics and stuff on my end, you know, because the Unreal Engine 5 came out and I'm like super excited, and to hear something like this, it's like bro, like all these people giving out money, right? So if I were to do a Kickstarter, it would be like, okay, I am not these guys. You know what I'm saying? You know, I would have to
Yeah, I know
now
you mean.
further prove why my game is worth buying, which is fine. I would, as a buyer, I would want that, right? But as a person who's making the game, and we look at, you know, people who create these companies because they have the money to do it, and they try to make these games because they have the time to do it, and they come up with some crazy stuff that nobody wants, and then, like you say, they stop bad mouthing people, and, you know, what do you call it, banning people, and hey,
Oh yeah.
all right, so it is what it is. Hopefully somebody steps in, buys them out, and make Dreamworld something worth something, but I don't think they have anything. Because usually when you make a game, you have a game design document, and the game design document says, okay, this is the character, this is what the character goes through, this is the mechanics of the world, this is the mechanics of, you know, the environment, the weapons, how much damage you do. You're strategizing, or you're creating a plan for your game before you make the game, and it doesn't seem like they have that. It people would buy a game design document if it's worth the money. You know what I'm saying? And if that's what they came up with, I would, you know, I can only hope. But seeing as we're talking about a rich dude who's just doing stuff and he never really finishes stuff, I'm like, I think he should work for some people. As a rich guy, he should work.
Well, that's the thing. Like, you know, it seems like pretty much all the people he's ever worked for are, like, you know, pretty much close family ties and stuff. So he's been allowed to fail his whole life, and he's just gonna keep doing it because there's really no reason not to, right? He's not gonna go hungry if he does, right?
That's
So
well, everybody else,
it's just sad because it has a lot of promise to the game. At least
on
they
paper,
promise a lot. You
on
know,
paper.
it's supposed to be this infinite open world.
Yeah.
I'm literally reading this from their Kickstarter. You know, you're supposed to scope the world and create it with a massive catalog of objects.
Mhm.
It's gonna be one single world for millions of players. You're gonna explore thousands of unique biomes, and you're supposed to be able to fight and tame all the incredible creatures in the world.
Wow.
So there's a lot of things promised in it, and I don't see that happening.
Wow. Well,
And the thing about it, like when you look at the pledges, because it shows how many people have pledged. For $1 or more, there's been like 101 backers. For $29 or more, it's been 152 backers. People who have backed for $99, there's 132 backers.
mhm.
Then you have like people who've backed up like $300. There's 18 of them, and there's actually 7 people who've backed for about 2,000.
Oh wow.
That's just crazy. that's just how desperate and how starved the MMO community is that they're willing to.
Shell out a lot of money for it. Just
Yeah, it's just
2,000's a lot of money, man.
It
I
is.
know. It's all because of this promise that this game is gonna come out and you're supposedly gonna be able to have your own plot of land and all this other kind of stuff. It's really sad, like how hard the MMO community is getting. It's just so used to having disappointment that they're willing to shell out for this much.
Well, it's hard to come out of that, especially this
I
discussion.
hope something comes out of it, but I don't see it.
Yeah, it's not looking
You know,
particularly hopeful.
you can only hope, man. Don CJG, what's going on with you? What news you got for us today, man?
Ooh, man, oh man, where do we begin? Where do we begin?
Oh, he's already tripping. He's about to be something.
I feel like we should probably address the big news what came out, which was Xbox finally actually announced their E3 dates.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yep, there was
June 13th.
rumors circulating earlier this week that they were going to announce it on Wednesday, and here comes Wednesday, and they announced it. So, Sunday, June the 13th, will be Xbox's E3 conference.
That is not a bad
10 a.m.
day.
Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern, and 6 p.m. in the UK.
Usually they're in like a Monday, Tuesday time frame. So this is
Right,
different,
yeah. Sunday is a very strange day for them to put this on.
Yeah.
But you know what? I have Saturday and Sunday off work. Works for me.
It's good. So
I would take it.
it's gonna be both.
Um,
They
so
want to make sure all eyes are on it.
Yeah, for sure, man. I think having that weekend slot might be a smart move.
Yep.
And, that's just over 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks to go as well now. You know what I mean? So it's surprisingly close.
Wow, I didn't realize it was that soon already.
You're right. I feel like you come into the year and you're like, oh, E3 is so far away.
Yeah.
And then you kind of blink a while, and then it's 2 weeks away.
So it's gonna be
But yeah, they announced this, and it was a pretty big deal. And there was, they put out this kind of promo art alongside of it. And there's actually a few little details in there what people aren't really looking at. So, you've got this giant kind of Starfield, Halo Infinite, big T's on there. But on the left of the picture, you have a couple of dates being floated around. 2002, 2003, 2004. And a few people online have been talking about games like Turok and Fable were actually released in these years. So this could actually be a little tease towards possible remaster.
Did you say
Or,
Turok?
yep. So, I don't want to say Turok's gonna be there or Fable's gonna be there, but I feel like, why mention these specific dates on this art promo for E3? It's gotta be something.
Yeah, I hope so.
Well,
Man, Turok brings back so many memories.
but it's also gonna be a connection, right, with Bethesda. So it's Xbox and Bethesda is gonna have the show at the same time.
Yeah.
Any
True.
news about that?
Yeah. 90 minutes, man. It was gonna be, I think, we don't know what that time portion is gonna be. I can't imagine it's gonna be 45, but I don't know. I feel, I think, was it last week we talked about that there were kind of rumors talking that Bethesda might end up taking a lot more of this Xbox show time slot. So, yeah, I think maybe big emphasis on Starfield and whatever other games they're working on behind the scenes there.
Yeah, I think
A
that's
lot of
gonna be a
studios in
big
the kind of
deal.
Bethesda
Yeah.
parent company, so
Mhm.
quite interested to see what comes out with that.
Well, I agree with that because they have a lot of unannounced titles. Xbox been saying that for a minute. That's yet
Yes,
to be
definitely.
announced. So I'm hoping to see some juicy stuff. To be honest, one of the things that I'm kind of curious on is Bethesda, and it seems that Bethesda is still operating as its own publisher. Does that come
Yeah.
across to you as well?
Yeah, I can't remember where I saw it. But I believe the kind of statement I saw was that Xbox don't really want to interfere too much with what Bethesda are doing,
Yep.
which I think's smart because what makes Bethesda is the fact that they're themselves, you know. I think being in the Xbox family is definitely a bonus, but you know, it's like an ecosystem, right? You can't jump in and start changing things and expect everything to be the same. So I think
Yeah.
it's quite a delicate little thing that Bethesda have nurtured within their studio and their work culture. That to create these really cool, well-made games by themselves, but now they just got the backing of Xbox and that whole partnership.
Yeah. At the end of the day, they bought Bethesda for a reason, right? So
Yeah, yeah,
let them
exactly.
score. I think even Bethesda has the same kind of attitude with the other dev studios that they purchase. You know,
Yeah,
it seems like.
One of the things that I'm curious about as well is a lot of people are asking Microsoft to make the statement whether or not Bethesda is exclusive.
yeah, yeah. That's
I think they've been
that's still
pretty
a
clear
question,
about that.
Well,
Yeah,
remember,
to some
Rick,
extent, this is the argument, right? There was that statement on Phil Powell, and he's like, you know, we want Bethesda to be best on Xbox or whatever. People are saying you wouldn't spend 7.5 billion or however much it was on Bethesda for it to not be exclusive, which I agree with. But until it's said or we see something officially, it's like, is it not? I
Right.
don't know.
And because the thing about it too is that Bethesda has always been a multi-platform developer, as far as I understand. I could be wrong.
Yeah.
Feel free to correct me there.
They have, but they started with Microsoft
Okay.
back
So
with Morrowind.
okay, that was
Sony didn't want Morrowind, but the original Xbox did.
really. What's the story behind that? Oh boy. What's the story behind that?
I don't remember the exact story on that, but I remember the original Morrowind only being on the PC and the Xbox, and Elder Scrolls did not hit Sony until Oblivion.
So, are we looking at more like when Morrowind came out for the first time on consoles, being compared almost similar to when EA announced EA Play to Sony, something like that? And Sony was like, yeah, that's not for us.
Pretty much, I would think.
Mm,
That's interesting.
interesting.
Yeah. See, the thing about it back then too, Sony was more not what is it called? Asian inspired. Like almost all the games were like
Yeah.
Asian inspired. So for something like Elder Scrolls, which is, you know, European of European creation, or like US or whatever, to be put out on their console. I mean, I can see them saying, yeah, you guys trying, but nah. But I'm just, you know what I'm saying? You're like, I don't know, man. I just found it kind of weird.
Yeah, Sony was kind of trying to stick in their own kind of side of world, I guess.
Wasn't Bethesda
They didn't
something
really want to
then? You know what I mean?
massively adapt to that kind of Western culture.
I mean, wasn't Bethesda big then too? That's what I'm saying.
They were a pretty decent size at the time, especially with Morrowind, because it's not like Morrowind launched straight to Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
It launched on the PC. It did very well. And you gotta remember, this is like, I think, even though they called it Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind, I think this was like already like the 5th game by that time. And they were all like, sold very well.
Mm-hmm.
But I just guess Sony at the time just didn't care because they just felt like their audience wouldn't care about that kind of game, you know, because it was a port from the PC to the Xbox,
Right. Right.
which you could play on Game Pass.
Oh, yeah.
This guy.
Just if you want to see how it looks.
Throwing these side stuff in there. You getting paid by Xbox or something? Let me know.
Hey,
Nah,
hit me up with that
advertising
content,
over
bro.
I wish that'd be cool, but nah. I mean, it's just cool the fact that we could go back and see a game like that and see where it all started. You know, the relationship
Yeah.
between them.
We're running into dangerous territories here, guys.
What's that?
Yeah, but the next few things on my my
Oh,
talk list
Yeah.
are getting a bit spicy.
It's
Oh.
Why are we having
Okay.
issues with people staying on the PlayStation 5? Right? They're reverting back to PlayStation 4. I mean, we're talking devs and studios. They make these games. I think they're third party, because if it was first party, they'll be amping up like PS5 all day, every day. But like Sniper Contract, I think it's called, right? Sniper Elite Contracts or something like that.
Yes.
And then now Borderlands and
Yeah.
crossplay.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Don, what's going on?
Yeah. So what's this? Yeah. So I believe Sniper Elite got a PlayStation exclusive delay.
Wait. Hold on. A PlayStation
That was
exclusive delay. What does that mean?
It means that the game was only delayed on the PlayStation, on the PlayStation 5, which is we're kind of seeing this recurring story. I think there was another game, Biomutant, that was it, was having issues with PS5, and I guess this seems to be a developer-based issue with the hardware, if I had to guess. Seems like people are kind of struggling keeping performance stability and whatnot on the console. Obviously, without being a developer, I can't really go into too much detail on that.
Okay, so the reason why I asked you that question before you continue is because it's not really a PlayStation exclusive delay. It's a PlayStation 5 exclusive delay.
Yeah.
Because everything is gonna come out as normal, especially on a PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But these next gen people who spend $500 on a console aren't getting the game.
Yeah. I did find that
It's a bit
kind
messed up,
of
man.
interesting. Yeah. Because it's coming out on Xbox Series X and S and Switch
Yeah.
and the PlayStation 4.
Yeah, all the other consoles are
Yeah.
fine, but PS5 is, they didn't really go into detail on what exactly it was.
Right.
And even in Biomutant, THQ said that, it's not be running at native 4K, and they just kind of put this down to quote unquote technical issues. So whether that gets resolved, how long that takes, who knows. Obviously, moving on to Borderlands.
Yeah.
So Borderlands 3 is getting a long-promised cross-play update. So that's awesome. So that means everyone on these, everyone's got the game to play together now. That'd be great. So all your Series X, PS5, PS4s, PCs can all play together, which would be the ideal world. However, Gearbox CEO Randy Pitchford put out a tweet the other day saying for the patch to get certification, the publisher has requested that crossplay be removed for PlayStation consoles. So PS5 is not even PS5, PS4 and PS5 will not be getting crossplay for Borderlands 3, which I can only imagine ties into Epic versus Apple court case where that info with the PS5 crossplay B got leaked out, which I'm sure Sony aren't too happy about. I think the 2K games who publish it, they're probably not too happy about this V. And I think personally for me, I really respect 2K for saying, you know what, Sony? No. And they're kind of, they're putting arms up like, look, we're not doing it. The information's out there for the public now. People know about it. Yeah. And I think the more big companies start doing this, saying, hey, Sony, we're not doing this. We're not playing along with this game, this kind of greed game what you guys going on. Everyone else is fine. There's no fee for PC crossplay. There's no fee for Xbox crossplay. There's no fee for Nintendo crossplay.
Yeah.
Why? Sony's always been the last kind of bastion on this war against crossplay for whatever reason they have. So I think people are finally standing up against that, and I respect it so much.
Wow, that's
I think
good.
Not to play devil's advocate, but I almost wonder, would this still happen even if that information wasn't leaked? Because
good question.
I mean, not to talk down about your not your what's it called again?
2K?
Borderlands 3.
Yeah.
2K.
It's a good game. I have it. I had a lot of fun with it. But I don't think it's as successful as like Fortnite, where Fortnite could get away with spending that money, right? Where Borderlands 3, it probably could still get away with that, but why would you want to expend that extra money when you have enough people on Xbox and PC to support you, and you don't need yourself getting bleeded out like that on the other end?
Yeah.
So I think it still would have came, but it definitely doesn't help Sony's position when you already have that information out there, and now you have this going on too, because it just makes it more obvious why it's happening now. Or before, like the blame kind of fell on the developers or publishers. Now it's kind of like falling on Sony because now everyone knows.
Yeah, that blame's definitely been skipped.
Isn't Borderlands on Steam as well?
Yep.
Not Steam. Yeah. Not Steam. What's the other one? Epic Store or something like that.
It's probably on Epic Stores too. I wouldn't doubt it.
Okay. I mean, because the only person who's charging is Sony, right? So that's a good valid point there. But you made a statement saying, if they didn't announce it, right, would it still be a thing to be considered? Would it still be news for us? You know what I'm saying? Or would they still have made that decision? I'm wondering about that, because then the question is, who sees that? Does the developer see the that document from Sony saying, okay, you gotta pay this for crossplay? So the project manager puts all that into a big fund and say, hey, publisher, this is how much you're gonna make the game, and boof, there you go. Or does the publisher see it first and then decide on how the game should be developed? You know what I'm saying? Like, if it wasn't said, what would be the stage at which these type of financial discussions would have been made? And to whom? Would it be the studio or the publisher that Sony would be speaking to that's making the game?
Yeah, I would imagine if that stuff didn't get leaked with the whole battle between Epic and Apple, the article would have read something more to the lines of like, 2K is not bringing crossplay to Sony, and then everyone would have been mad at 2K.
But here's the thing, Dio. Why is Sony in the mix? How did Sony get in the mix? That's the question. You know what I'm saying? It's like you're just this
circumstances, I assume.
Bro, you're this innocent guy living in your village, right? Or in your circle, street, court, whatever it's called, right? And then two people are yelling outside, right? The police comes over and they're like, okay, we gotta stop this. And then police comes over to you, be like, did you see anything? Nah, I ain't see nothing. And then the woman comes over, be like, I saw it, and I know a lot about you.
Pretty much, man.
I was like, and you're like, what
I
the
think they just
heck?
got caught in the
What
crossfire.
are they?
Now we're in this unfortunate position where
Yeah.
they're kind of been exposed, I guess.
Yeah, this is crazy. It's crazy. I feel bad for Sony, but we are able to see how the business practices are going on. Because when we look at Microsoft and Sony from a lens of perfection or just complete dirt, you know what I'm saying? Like, man, I'm touching that. Oh, but I'm touching this. You know what I mean? Oh, this one got games. This same one ain't got no games, but we never understand why. Or what's going on behind the hood, and to see how Sony's practices are is very enlightening, and I feel it's just more to come, especially with the marketing that Microsoft's been doing and all the efforts that Nintendo's been doing. I'm hoping to see Nintendo actually be put on spotlight. I know a lot of gamers are saying, yo, this is the thing, we love it, we enjoy it, this is the Switch. But I think personally, if anybody should be market leader, it should be Nintendo. That is my take on that.
Well, they do some scummy things too. I have some dirty laundry on them right now.
He holds no
No,
punches. He holds no punches.
Yeah,
Let's go.
I mean, they're not without their faults, dude.
Go ahead.
Have you heard about what they're trying to do with Zelda Skyward Sword?
No, I haven't been in Zelda since the Wii, so you gotta enlighten me
Okay.
on that one.
Well, then you're good, because I think if I remember correctly, it was either Wii or Wii U, but I'm pretty sure it was Wii. Zelda Skyward Sword was a Wii game that came out in like 2011.
Okay.
It was a 10-year-old game, right?
Yep.
And the remaster, I think, is coming out this month. Well, I mean, next month. It's not June yet, but so I'm happy about that. It's cool, right? Everyone's happy. We put Zelda, but it's coming out for full price. So we're all kind of disappointed about that, But at the end of the day, us Zelda players, we love it. We're gonna pay for it. It's a remaster, an HD remaster. For the people who missed that game, we get to play it, and not only that, even the people who played it, we'll get to play it a little bit different because you're not using that Wii nunchuck, right? You're gonna actually have real action combat with a controller. So just that aside, the fact that you're paying $60 for an HD remaster of one game, right? Like, I mean, you could say whatever you want about, the Mass Effect remaster, but that's 3 games, right? For almost $60.
Right.
This is one game, a Wii game.
I mean,
so
it's
on top of that already,
okay.
As if they could have had just been bad enough.
Yeah.
They're selling an amiibo. I don't know if you guys know what amiibos are.
That's those toys that we play on.
Kind of plug them in.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they've already had some controversy with amiibos in the past because certain amiibos will have like little unlocks. Usually it's cosmetic, but there have been a few where they actually alter gameplay. Like there was like the Metroid one for the 3DS game that when you put on the amiibo on it, it unlocked the hard difficulty, which is not a big deal for most players, but for the hardcore Metroid players, of course that's awesome, right? Because you get to play it on a harder difficulty. But whereas something that's less intrusive, it was not in the game otherwise. That's the problem.
What?
Yeah. So I mean, you could look at something less intrusive like the Skyrim, where Skyrim on a Switch, when you use the Link amiibo, it will give you like Link cosmetics. Like you'll have his little outfit and a shield and sword, which is cool, but not really game breaking, right?
Yeah.
So it's on different levels. So this amiibo, which is $25, so on top of that game, which is $60, that's $85 altogether if you want to get it together, will actually make it so you have a better form of fast travel. That's not in the game. Because you remember, this is a game that's 10 years old, so fast travel in the game is, even though it's in the game, it's not easy. You still got to get to the flight paths and the flight points, and you still got to do all these things in between. Where with the amiibo, you just put that bad boy on there, and you can just go fast travel back to wherever you want to go.
That's insane.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
That's
which
actually-
it's a single player game. You don't need it. You don't need that to get through the game. It wasn't in the base game, but the fact that you had to buy this $25 toy on top of a $60 game that's 10 years old.
or fast travel.
Yeah, it's pretty scummy.
Wow.
So I mean, there's some Nintendo right there that they're not. I don't get me wrong. I love Nintendo, even though they killed Sega, and Sega will always be my first love. But that's not cool. And they keep dipping their toes and they keep kind of pushing their limits. And I just really hope they don't get into the same league of EA and Activision. But
Ooh.
they are trying little by little to kind of make their way in.
Mhm.
Mm. Wow. Dang. Well,
That's my take on it anyway.
well, speaking about remasters, Sonic Colors Ultimate.
Right, that was something that came out of nowhere.
No, I'll be honest.
yeah.
I'll be honest with you. When I saw that, I was like, "Oh wow, a new game!" And then I realized the game has been out, what, 2010? Or
Yeah.
something like that. And I was like,
I think I
"Dang."
played that when I was a kid.
I mean,
Yeah.
I wasn't aware of it because it's a Nintendo game, right? A Nintendo Switch game or something like that. When it got released,
I think it was I think it came on all the platforms.
did it? I don't.
I'm pretty sure
remember.
it did. I'm pretty sure it was on the Nintendo systems, and I'm pretty sure it was on the Xbox One and the PS4.
Wow, it's kind of sad because I'm thinking like, yo, they're doing stuff that I haven't seen before, but then I have seen it. already. You know what I'm saying? I've seen it, but I'm thinking.
I mean, it was a really good game.
That's what I'm saying. The way how they showed the gameplay of it, I was like, okay, so you're in 3D, but you're doing these other things, and I was like, okay, so you're playing off of Sonic Generations and some other joints, and I was like, very kind of cool about it. But then when I read more into it, it's a remaster of the old game during the 360 era.
Yep.
Or was it the Xbox One? I think it's like the beginning. Of
It was
the
Xbox
360.
One.
Was
It was like the beginning, like the very beginning.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I was like, wow.
I mean, it was a very beautiful game, and
Mhm.
it was fun. I'm pretty sure it was very well received by everybody, honestly.
So they're bringing it back.
Um,
They're bringing it back, guys.
yeah, that's one on the 30th anniversary. The
Mhm.
first Sonic Central. So this is gonna be like Sega's little thing now, like
Mhm.
how Nintendo and Sony do.
hmm
Um,
Like a state of play kind of thing for Sonic.
yeah, yep, exactly. Which they actually had a lot to announce for
Very
Sonic.
niche brand.
It is, and I don't know if it's gonna be like this every time they have a Sonic Central, but there was a lot of news on it. I was actually like there was so much that I didn't even write everything down because I was just
Oh
shocked.
yeah, like I was like, this is a lot of info about Sonic.
Yeah.
Oh man. Look, you know what?
So, I mean-
got some kids. They can use the plushie, the Sonic plushie or whatever. Let me know. When that's
Yeah. I mean, there was all kinds of other toys they announced and everything. They even announced like Sonic, like jewelry and Sonic like silver dollars. I was like, what? Who's wanting this? Apparently, there's a market, man.
Hold on. Yeah,
Need
you
to
guys
say
can't. You guys
remaster
can't.
Sonic
Yo,
Heroes.
you guys. You
Wicked.
don't remember drawing Sonic like endlessly? Like how these guys draw Dragon Ball Z characters endlessly? Like, come on,
Mhm.
guys. You want deep into Sonic like
Well, I guess it's kind of something that will never kind of go away. Like even my kids,
that? Yeah,
without me like really introducing Sonic to them, they're really into it.
yeah.
And when you look at it at Netflix and stuff like that, there's a ton of like cartoon series out there for it. I mean, besides the movie.
Yeah.
And I mean, they're actually announced during that 30th anniversary. There's gonna be 2 new Sonic cartoons coming out. Sonic Colors: Rise of the Wisp, and then Sonic Prime. Sonic Prime's gonna be on Netflix, and I think the other one's gonna be on YouTube.
Interesting. And then the movie.
Ever since the Sonic movie came out, they've been really pushing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
That one.
that movie did very well.
Oh yeah, it did really good.
It's
made
gonna
a lot
have,
of money.
Knuckles and Tails in it, which is gonna be. And what's the other guy? I don't know if Shadow's gonna be in it.
Dude, if
I
they
don't know.
remaster that Shadow game from back in the day,
Sonic Adventure 2.
I'm in.
Yeah, I'm honestly surprised that hasn't happened yet. Sonic Adventure, Sonic Adventure 2. You would think that would be like a remaster by now.
Hey, it might come.
maybe.
It might come this way. To go
Well-
hard on the Sonic brand.
In the end of it, they did show a preview for a new Sonic game, but they didn't like show a title or anything. But the game is supposed to come out in 2022.
Wow.
But like it was like such a short little clip. Like at the end,
Yeah.
it was such a tease. Like I have no idea what to expect from it. I'm assuming it's a Sonic Colors Part 2, because they
But
kind of
it
had
looked
that
pretty
vibe to
good.
it.
looked
But it
pretty
was
good.
so short that I mean, it's anyone's guess.
Was it good looking? Cause I gotta look it up.
Like I said, the teaser was so short that you wouldn't even know
Mm.
if it's gonna be good or not, because they didn't put any gameplay or anything. Just,
Well,
you know, when they show like a tease, like,
yeah.
did you see like the Elder Scrolls 6 teaser? Like when it kind of
Yeah.
like zoomed out
Actually,
and it just says Elder Scrolls 6. It was kind of like that.
Actually, I saw the Dragon Quest 12 teaser, and it was an
Oh, I missed
image.
Yes. Yeah, I saw that image. too.
There was
Yeah.
an image. I was like, "That's it."
Yeah. So that's what you're gonna see when you do the Sonic Colors. The Sonic teaser, because that's what I thought. I was like, that's it. What's going on? I want to know what's going on.
That's like Starfield. All we have is images. We
Oh,
don't have
yeah.
anything else.
Yeah.
Anyone interested in the Dragon Quest 12? Just know that it's in full swing. The same director or developer is going to be working on it. They're changing up the combat style from what I've read. But,
Okay.
you know, but that's it. Like I said, it was small news. I was like, what?
So
And
when they
haven't
say that
announced-
they're gonna change the combat, it's not gonna be turn-based anymore. It's gonna be like action.
who knows?
RPG?
Who knows? That's all they said. They're not revealing much.
Maybe.
They haven't even
But
announced
if they're
That's what
changing up,
any platforms yet.
Yeah.
They haven't announced anything yet as far as platforms.
that could
and
open
stuff.
it to a bigger audience, dude.
Stadia.
I would think so, because it kind of feels like Square Enix is kind of pushing more ARPGs, right? Like even with Final Fantasy, like with 15 and 16 is looking like an ARPG also.
Yeah.
Yeah, they brought
and what
Outriders
they-
to Ishua.
And
the
what
whole
they
big
did
thing right
with
now. Like,
no, that's Yakuza. Yakuza is not Square Enix. I don't think so.
Yeah, right. Yeah, Yakuza Sega though.
Yeah, but even they switched up.
Oh, actually, since you brought Yakuza up, Sonic is gonna make his way into Judgment also in September
Yes.
24th.
Yes.
wow.
Yeah. Yo.
Yeah, so like
yo.
you know how you had like the little Sega arcades in Judgment and
Yeah.
Yakuza.
Yep.
In September, they're gonna introduce Sonic Fighter in the Sega arcade. So if you go in there, you can play the little Sonic Fighter game.
Look, Don. Don't hate. Don't hate. If you play Judgment, you're gonna think twice. Trust me.
Hey,
Judgment is good.
oh,
It's
It looks
very
really
good.
cool.
Dude, it's nice.
you never know.
It is very nice. I wish I played the Yakuza series, but based on what I've heard, that like Judgment has more fighting in it than Yakuza in all of its series. So based on what
Okay.
I've played so far, it's pretty nice, man. I like the detective LA noir type feel. The fighting is definitely cool. Still trying to get used to the drone, because you use the drone for investigation, but you also have like drone competitions where you fly drones. But
Okay.
it's
Huh.
yeah, but it's
There's
a little
actually
bit.
a drone racing game on the Xbox.
No, that's different.
Yeah, there is.
That's completely different.
Kind of got garbage reviews though.
It got look, it got garbage reviews mainly because it is so simulating the drone that it's not even worth playing if you've never flown a drone.
Yeah.
That's
Oh.
where that comes in. Like if you have a DJI or whatever drone, right, and you've used the controllers and stuff, then when
he
you
just said 3 letters and lost me immediately.
when you play the game, it's gonna feel very interesting because the controls are completely different. It's not your standard flying mechanic. It might, you know what I'm saying? So that's why people are kind of turned off. And you know, there's other stuff too, but it's pretty cool, man. It's pretty
Now, with the drone game, can you peep on people?
cool.
I'm pretty sure if you could, the
Why?
reviews would be a lot better.
Why? Are you talking about the simulation game?
Yeah, we don't need a game for that.
Are you talking about a simulation game? See, we had this discussion when we talked about Twitch, sir.
Right?
I'm just saying, like, bro.
Dude, that's a great Twitch like channel idea, right?
Oh,
Like get a drone
Is the category
and like
called drone?
peep at the what's it called? The hot tubs.
Oh,
Mhm. So you have the hot tub category, and then you have the drone over the hot tub category. Sure.
yeah.
Yes, sir.
I don't need a Twitch Prime sub.
Yes, sir. I'm sure you're gonna create something for that too.
Good
What-
idea, man.
What I was surprised about is I played Horizon Zero Dawn. A very good game.
Yep.
Horizon's Forbidden West looks like a very good game. It really does. Did any of you guys watch the state of play with Horizon Zero Dawn?
I don't think I watched all of it. I think I watched it very late at night, so I probably fell asleep.
It's okay.
But
I
I
only
was
watched. Yeah, I only watched
Yeah, I
the
watched the whole
gameplay.
thing.
I didn't watch the state of play. I watched the gameplay of it. So, but when I saw it, I was
Yeah.
like, okay, Xbox, what you gonna do?
Yeah,
Um,
no, Horizon Forbidden West looks really nice, man. I can't lie.
What did
I
what-
mean-
go ahead. Go ahead.
The graphics and everything look really nice,
Uh-huh.
and the gadgets and the combat look pretty cool. But I never played Horizon Zero Dawn,
Mhm.
Yeah.
but it was my understanding that it was a very open world game,
Yes.
right?
Mhm.
But when I was watching this
It felt instant.
gameplay, and I mean, I know it's just a trailer, but it felt very like linear. It felt like
Yeah,
almost like
it felt
Tomb
very
Raider,
kinda scripted.
yeah, or like Uncharted. So I don't know if it's just because that's the trailer, or if Sony knows their audience and the audience didn't care about the open world aspect of it, and they just want to play a movie like with their other games.
Well,
So
the only thing that comes to mind is how the cinematic moments that they were selling, right? Because that could be part of the story in of itself. In the Horizon Zero Dawn is definitely an open world game.
okay,
The cinematics were really tied to the story. So you would walk up to the person would talk back and forth to you, and then you would walk into like the village, and then there would be some cinematic things going on, like a ritual, but it's not really it's like a traditional event where people show off their skills, right? This is the beginning of the game. People show off their skills and how far they've gotten to become that hunter, if you will. And Eloy is kind of like amongst the people who are trying to become, whatever. And then something
Yeah.
happens, and the robot shows up, and then she's now looking for all this other stuff. And it's open world, by the way, but there's certain areas that of course you can't get into because there's a cliff that separates you that has no way of, you passing over. You know what I'm saying? So the world ends at a certain point, and the world, but you can travel through different areas with different biomes and such. I assume it's gonna be like that. The Forbidden West version, it does look linear, and I think what they were trying to do is just show you the different enemies that exist.
Yeah.
What you could do in the game that you couldn't do in Zero Dawn, and the people that are returning. Just those different things. It's very interesting. That what really got me though is like she's fighting this mammoth, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then there's like this full cinematic of her putting like doing a special move. I think it was like a 3-second or 4-second cinematic. You know what I'm saying? Almost as though like if she was like an Avenger or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like, okay, that's new. I was like, is that gonna happen every time? You know what I'm saying? I was like, I mean, it looked cool, but the amount of time, to me, I was like, okay, I wonder how many other ones they're gonna, because if they have different cinematics like that, right, for different weapons and stuff, or you on your robot horse or whatever, then that would be cool. But if it's the same thing every time, then that really would become stale. You know what I'm saying? But I definitely congratulate. Is it Guerrilla Games? I think it's Guerrilla Games. I might be
Yes.
wrong. Good job on that. Definitely good job.
Well,
on
another thing that was weird is that there was no release date there. Not even like a year.
that. I'm still waiting for a PC release if they're gonna announce it. I'm just saying.
Well, hey, there's some stuff what Sony put out. Might be looking at PC games. To be fair.
Yeah, I would do the bundle for Steam. I'll do Zero Dawn and Forbidden West as a bundle. I would definitely do that for Steam. Because it's a single player open world adventure game. It's not gonna come to Xbox, so might as well get it on Steam.
No.
So, but the only other thing would be Unreal Engine 5 has finally been released in early access, and I must say,
Dude, that little video looked real nice.
Completely sexy. The ground
It
looks
looked
sexy,
real damn good.
and I've never seen sexier dirt in my life.
Yeah, thinking like, Gears 6 could be running on that, or will be.
Yeah.
That's big.
Well,
That's real big, man.
I'm surprised, Don, that you didn't mention the Slip Space engine, because I think the release of the Unreal Engine 5 may have made a push for Xbox to update their stuff. For instance, Halo Infinite will be using the Slip Space engine, and they're going for a complete open world experience based on the Slip Space engine advertisement of Halo. It's kind of weird because I don't know. I mean, no, it was a YouTuber. It was a YouTuber talking about it. My bad. It wasn't actual Xbox. It was a YouTuber talking about it. But it just sounds as though the Slip Space engine is going to become more open world centric, with, of course, if you want to do the Unreal for Xbox, Slip Space engine. So
yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do with it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a big wasp started flying at me. That was scary.
Yeah, smack it.
Close the window a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm excited for E3 to see more of Slip Space in action.
Mm-hmm.
See what the Halo actually looks like running on that engine now. I know they did a lot of behind the scenes work to improve
That thing looks
just being able to add and remove things and change things on the fly. I think that was one of the big issues they said they had with the old engine. So, I think there's two sides to the engine. You've got the user experience, and then you've got that kind of background. So, it's interesting, man. And, looking at Unreal 5 and how beautiful it looks in that little demo they put out, I feel, there's a lot of new engines out there what Xbox is starting to utilize. Wasn't it only, I can't remember the studios they mentioned. It was Coalition and two other studios. I think the only Xbox studios are actually getting to use this right now.
Talking about Slip Space?
Unreal 5. I think it's only been released to 3 studios.
Wasn't Obsidian using it at one point? With Grounded?
So,
I think Grounded and but anyways, while you're looking for that, Dio, you gotta check out MetaHuman plugin for the Unreal Engine, bro.
Okay.
I'm talking about these. You get to create your character. I think you can scan your face and all that kind of stuff and put yourself in the game, man.
Wow.
And then like when they talk, it looks real, bro. Like you ever seen like the Final Fantasy movies, like Advent Children or whatever. Yo, bro, like I'm getting those vibes. But it looks real though. It
right.
Like you see the pores and stuff in it. It's pretty cool. You gotta check that out. The other thing that I'm interested in is the world composition. Is basically how they create open world experiences on the Unreal Engine. The use of nanite, which remember we talked about DLSS. I think that's what it's called. Where I think is an AI or some form of technology that would, start. I don't know if it starts you off at 480, and then as you play the game, your resolution gets better or goes up and down, but you don't really see the difference. But a game is trying to manipulate material and graphics so that you get the best experience regardless of what platform you're on. So Unreal Engine uses Lumen and nanite. Lumen, as the name states, is your ambient occlusion, which looks ridiculously awesome. And nanite, I might be wrong, but nanite feels like that DLSS, where you have all these objects with high quality materials, right, on them.
Okay.
But then no matter how far or close you get, you're still rocking 60 plus frames. You know what I'm saying? Like, so if you saw that one presentation, it was a Sony presentation of Unreal Engine 5, and it had all these statues in one area. All those statues were solid. They were solid objects with material, and usually if you have like high quality material, your resolution tanks, right?
Yeah.
If you have solid material, like meaning like let's say you had like 1,000 blocks with no material, the performance drops. You add the material, then performance and resolution drops. Nanite retains your frame rate and keeps your performance at high, which is pretty cool. I like that. I really like that a lot. So I'll be digging into that a lot, bro. That is Unreal Engine 5 sexy
More
machine.
tools.
Yeah, bro.
I think I found who it was.
What is it?
I think it was Coalition, In Exile, and Ninja Fury.
That one game.
I believe they're the three studios confirmed to be using it right now.
Actually, there's that one. So Ninja Theory has the new Hellblade 2 that uses
Hellblade and Project Mara.
Yes, that's the one that I hope they show on E3, because that game looks so realistic, it's unbelievable.
Right.
Yeah.
And they're using Unreal Engine 5 from the jump, so that's gonna be very interesting. All right, guys, that is it. This is the Digital Cypha Podcast. We thank you so much for stopping in, checking us out. We had a little bit of a ramble here and there, but again, Unreal Engine 5, PlayStation doing their thing, Xbox and Game Pass. Unfortunately, people who are doing some wild things with Kickstarter, need to be kicked to the curb. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it is what it is. We got different types of people out there. But yeah, that is it. You guys have a great weekend. And this is DJ. Got my Dio Zales over here. And my Don CJG. Signing out.
Ayo. Bye.
Thanks, guys.